Actually, classical music came to me, and it was a big, big joy for me because I've been listening to, radio plays, a lot of French, sort of France Musique, which is one of the greatest, I find, radio stations, national radio. And the musicologists, I learned so much from them. And actually, it came to me, Joan of Arc came to me in 2011 from the Barbican. I'd done readings before with musicians, but a piece like that is such a massive piece, came to me, and I always wanted to do it because when I was younger and I was at drama school, the Conservatoire National d'Art Dramatique in Paris, I had gone to see Isabelle Huppert with one of the directors that I so admired, god of theatre, Claude Régis. And they did Jeanne Aubuchet at Opéra Bastille, and I bought my ticket. And I was a student at the Conservatoire, and I said to myself, I was a student at the Conservatoire, and I said, I'm going to do that piece one day. I was mesmerized, and she was on a cross, with naked breasts, very high up. And I love the music, and I just think that it's got these metallic notes that Honegger manages to give you, this silvery atmosphere. It's such atmospheric music, and you get lost in the thoughts of Jeanne d'Arc alone before she's going to be executed, burnt on the stake. And so I was so thrilled when it came to me to do it especially with Marianne Alsop and the LSO, because I had greatly admired her. Not just because she's a woman, but because having come from Bernstein and all that school, and yes, also because she's a woman, because she was one of the, first major ones. Maybe she wasn't the first, but, big lover of music. So it was very, very thrilling. And the LSO had a lot of international members of the orchestra playing. So it was an experience at the Barbican that I'd gone to a lot as a youngster and as a child. I was very curious. I used to get the train alone, skip school, play truant, come to London, go to the Cine Renoir, see Derek Jarman films. I was a big film and music lover. And of course, I have to thank all the people who worked at Virgin Classics, because in the classical department, and the Tower Records on Piccadilly, because they really also took my curiosity further. I had certain tastes. I had voices that I liked, that I'd also inherited a bit from my mother's tastes, like Lisa de la Casa and Victoria de Los Angeles, of course, Callas, of course. Fischer Dieskau, but Hans Hotter, but also I took my thing further. I loved Lotte Lenya, I would bring Kurt Weill home. So I had this appetite for the weird and wonderful. And I think in Jeanne d'Arc, what's beautiful is that in Jeanne Aubuchet, you've got the mystical, and you've got the metaphysical, and you've got the dark solitude of this girl who is absolutely not guilty, but who's living her life through like a film, because it's going backwards. In French, you say à rebours. And Claudel, the great French writer, my great drama teacher, was the Claudelian specialist in France, Madeleine Marion. And she'd always said, you will do Jeanne one day. So Claudel was a very staunch Catholic, so Honegger had to persuade him to do it. And the words are so beautiful. And there's bits of comedy in it. These characters like Toumouillet and Jean Midi, which are ridiculous names in French, these kind of chevaliers, which means all wet, and John of the South, John of 12. So there are bits of humor in the middle of this, and the animals coming on, and the cacophony of the animal sort of world, and the ecclesiastical, or austere ecclesiastical world. So it's very metallic, silvery music. And I remember being very moved by the music. And I said to my mother, oh my God, this is my first big musical piece. What should I do? She said, look at the conductor, listen to the music with your conscious and unconscious soul, and let your instincts speak. So I think that was quite good advice.